I was working. I was literally working. And they deactivated me. This is related. They just punished me for posting about my assault while DoorDashing. They just fired me. And the police are doing nothing. I lost my job. And that was my only way to make money to pay my bills.
A TikTok video seen around the world landing the person who posted in an Oswego courtroom today.
A DoorDash driver showing a naked customer accusing him of harassment, but getting arrested herself. 2 months later, she's facing the charges.
You really have to appreciate the absolute audacity of the modern internet narcissist. Olivia Henderson, the infamous DoorDash girl, actually stood in a court of law and pled not guilty, despite filming her own crime in high definition and posting it for the world to see.
The Oswego City judge allowing News Channel 9 to record the proceedings. The first look at 23-year-old Olivia Henderson outside her popular TikTok page.
Their front door was wide open, and they were within eyesight of the front door, laying on the couch indecently exposed to me.
This is her last post, published October 26th, 2 weeks after her now-deleted video causing this controversy.
This is the perfect collision between main character delusion that we see everywhere and the consequences of the legal system. We're going to walk through the specific charges and the evidence she handed the police on a silver platter. You're going to see exactly why your feelings do not override the penal code and why this victim narrative is about to collapse. So let's take a look at the fundamentals here. On December 4th, Henderson faced a judge and entered a not guilty plea. Now, legally, this is a standard move. You do it to buy time, maybe get a plea deal, but usually you don't have a defendant confessing the crime on social media before the arraignment. The fundamentals here look terrible for her. We aren't just talking about a misunderstanding. We are talking about two very specific felonies: unlawful surveillance and dissemination of unlawful surveillance under the New York Penal Code. To make these charges stick, the state has to prove a few specific things. They need to show intentional recording. Check. They need to show intimate parts were visible. Double check. And they need to prove that the victim had a reasonable expectation of privacy. Check, check, check. Triple check. And they need to prove that there was a lack of consent on his part. When you look at all the facts, this isn't a complex case. This wasn't some accident where she was vlogging her day and he walked into the frame with his pants hanging down around his ankles. She saw him, she made a decision, she pulled out her phone and she hit record. That's the reality of this situation. The prosecutor's job is usually to connect the dots, but she essentially drew the line for them. The law also requires that the recording was done for amusement, entertainment, profit, or to degrade the person. That's where she really messed up. The dissemination charge is even more straightforward. Did she share the unlawful recording? We know she did. She put it on TikTok for the world to see millions of times, right? Well, considering we all saw what she posted because she posted it to the internet, that's a slam dunk in this case. The arrogance of Olivia is off the charts. She thinks that because she felt unsafe, despite being outside a closed house, because that's been cleared up now with the footage that the customer actually provided to the police. It's in the police report. Somehow she thinks the laws don't apply to her. But the statute isn't about feelings, you know? You don't get to record naked people in their homes just because you want to become TikTok famous.
This is her last post, published October 26th, 2 weeks after her now-deleted video causing this controversy. Working as a driver for delivery service DoorDash, Henderson claimed she was dropping off a food order when through the customer's door, saw him on the couch naked. After posting her footage, she reported the incident to Oswego police as sexual harassment.
Some of the claims that she had made on social media after the fact were not in fact true.
Investigators determined the man, drunkenly unconscious on his couch, did nothing wrong.
But let's dig deeper into the not guilty aspect. When you plead not guilty, you are telling the court, prove it. You are challenging the state to bring their evidence. In most cases, the evidence is a witness statement or a grainy security camera. In this case, the evidence is her own viral video. She is challenging the state to prove she did the thing she bragged about doing. It's a bold strategy to enter a not guilty plea. Let's see if it pays off. I guarantee you it won't. The charges specifically fall under New York Penal Code Law Section 250.45. It prohibits recording a person dressing or undressing their intimate parts without their consent in a place where they have reasonable expectation of privacy. Think about the videos of a hidden camera or something in a dressing room, and then the girls come in. I don't think Olivia understands this thing in reverse, but she's about to, as she's facing 8 years. But the expectation of privacy part is the only thread she's hanging by. She didn't ask him. She didn't announce herself. She crept up and filmed him. And frankly, the fact that she is fighting this instead of taking a deal immediately shows a level of entitlement that is frankly staggering. She genuinely believes that she did nothing wrong. But proving she hit record is just the start of this. She made the prosecutor's job so easy right now regarding her intent. All right, so this is where she really messed up. And honestly, it's where the defense completely falls apart. In any criminal case, proving intent is usually the hardest hill for a prosecutor to climb. You have to get inside the defendant's head and prove beyond a reasonable doubt what they were thinking at the specific moment they committed the act. It's usually very hard to accomplish, but Olivia Henderson decided to make it very, very easy and broadcast her intention to the entire world. She made the prosecutor's job so easy, it's almost insulting to the legal profession. You have to look at the profit element of the statute. Remember, the law prohibits recording for amusement, entertainment, or profit. Now, a smart defendant would shut their mouth, not say anything. Not Olivia. She went on camera after the initial video was taken down, and she didn't complain about safety. She didn't complain about trauma. She complained about her paycheck that TikTok was going to take away from her because she didn't meet some monetization requirement. She explicitly whined that TikTok demonetized her video and that she was losing out on money from the views. She was angry that the platform wasn't paying her for the crime she just committed. That is undeniable proof of intent to profit. You can't just stand in front of a jury and claim this was a cry for help when you were putting your finger on your mouth and going like this, or a documentation of evidence when you're on record furious that the cash wasn't going to flow in from your new TikTok fame. This is common sense. She wasn't acting like a victim. She was acting like a disgruntled content creator who got stiffed on her monetization.
Investigators determined the man, drunkenly unconscious on his couch, did nothing wrong. But he found out lewd images of him were published for thousands of TikTok users to see. So police criminally charged Henderson with 2 counts related to unlawful surveillance. Court documents accuse her of recording, quote, intimate parts without consent when he had a reasonable expectation of privacy.
And to all those that have been supportive of me during this time, thank you so much.
For as talkative as she's been on TikTok until now, she had nothing to say while leaving the courthouse.
Livy, do you want to say anything about what happened?
The judge gave Henderson her next court date. It's after the new year, in January.
But then you have the intent to degrade or abuse element. There is another specific prong of the law that she violated with her own words. She looked right into the camera lens and stated that she wanted this man to feel shame and wanted him to be embarrassed. She said, now he can live with shame and embarrassment. That's basically a confession. She admitted that her goal wasn't justice for her essay. It was humiliation. She wanted to destroy this guy's reputation because he had the audacity to be asleep in his own home. When you explicitly state that your motivation is to cause someone distress and shame, you have just handed the state the intent to degrade element on a silver platter. It is just crazy that she thought this was a good idea to say out loud. Now, I know what her defenders, if she has any left, are going to say. Some of them crazy people on TikTok are still trying to defend her. They're going to claim she was reporting a crime. I was just gathering evidence, but let's look at the timeline because the facts matter. She didn't record the video and drive straight to the precinct. She didn't call 911 immediately. She went home. She edited the footage. She probably spent time picking out a caption and a sound so that it went viral. And then she posted it to TikTok. See, she only went to the police after the internet started telling her that she should go to the police. You don't post evidence to TikTok before you give it to the detectives if your genuine intent is legal reporting. The timeline proves that clout was the priority and the police report was the afterthought. It was a cover-up for her bad behavior. It wasn't a pursuit for justice at all. And here's the final nail in the coffin regarding dissemination. The police report indicates that she emailed the video to the officer herself. Now think about the legal implications of that. She established the chain of custody for them. She proved that she was in possession of the unlawful surveillance material, and she proved she is the one who distributed it. She literally emailed her own felony to the police. You can't make this shit up. It's a level of incompetence that is actually staggering. She walked into that situation thinking she was the main character in a crime drama. You know, I don't know what it is about young women watching these crime dramas. They love the idea of putting themselves in the victim's position and what would they do and how would they get out of it. You know, they're the top watchers in these crime dramas, and Olivia is no different. But instead of her being the victim, she was just the criminal turning herself in without realizing it. So when you look at the fundamentals, she is absolutely cooked on intent. She admitted to the profit motive. She admitted to the degradation motive, and her actions prove she prioritized social media over law enforcement. There's no way out of that box. But, and this is a big but, her entire defense team is likely going to try to ignore all that and focus on one single flimsy argument. They're going to try to tell you that none of this matters because of the front door. They're going to try to hang everything on the idea that privacy didn't exist in the first place. So here's the Hail Mary pass. This is the only card her defense team has left to play. And honestly, it's a weak one. Her entire legal strategy hinges on the claim that this man had no reasonable expectation of privacy because his front door was allegedly wide open. The argument is basically that if you can see it from the street or if the door is cracked, then it's fair game for public consumption. She's banking on the idea that because she didn't have to kick the door down, she was allowed to stand there and film a naked man sleeping on his couch and then cry out, SA. It's a desperate reach, but when you have confessed to everything else on video, desperation is all you have left. But here's where reality hits her right in the face. According to the police reports that are coming out, the detectives didn't just take her word for it. They actually did police work. Go figure. They reportedly reviewed the Ring doorbell footage from the victim's home, and guess what? That footage apparently tells a very different story than the one she's spinning on TikTok. The police are saying that the door wasn't wide open in the way that she claims. The report suggests she essentially let herself in or open the screen door to get that angle. If that's true, if she manipulated that door across the threshold even an inch to get her shot, her entire defense evaporates instantly. You cannot manufacture a lack of privacy by invading someone's space and then claim they shouldn't have been naked. That's not how the law works. And it's certainly not how common sense works. Think about the logic for a second if the roles were reversed. If a mail delivery driver walked up to a house, saw a woman sleeping naked on her couch through a window, filmed her, and then said, well, she ordered a pizza, so she obviously wanted me to see this, he would be in handcuffs before he could even upload to TikTok. We would call him a predator. We would call him a creep. Nobody would be debating the angle of the door. They would be locking him up for a very long time. But because Olivia Henderson has convinced herself that she is the main character, the victim, I'm a victim.
I'm the victim! Remember? I'm the victim! took down my video. They were going to have to pay me for my second story time because that was over a minute long.
She thinks she can use the "he asked for it" defense. Ugh, that's disgusting. But anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. Make sure you join the Patreon at patreon.com/Faucette Media. That supports the channel. That's where a lot of content that isn't on YouTube is going to exist. That's going to be one of our new homes. That's going to be a place where we can gather, where we can connect, where I can share content that I can't necessarily share on this platform or others. Definitely not like anything Olivia shared, but either way. Go to the Patreon and support Faucette Media. This is Faucette Media.